Donald Trump made history this year when he became the first former US president to be found guilty of a crime. And despite all the odds, he's now set for a second term in the White House, which is likely to mean his upcoming sentencing is all on pause.
He was found guilty of falsifying business records in order to conceal a hush money payment to Stormy Daniels, the adult film star. And she joins us now. Very good morning, except I imagine for you it's not a very good morning.
It is not.
You said to us that you were actually scared of a Donald Trump victory for you personally. You might even leave the country. Why the fear?
Because, and actually since the last time you and I spoke, he's become more adamant about coming after those who were opposed to him and anyone associated with those people. As a matter of fact, even just most recently in my personal life, I've been shadow banned or throttled, for those who don't know what that means. Look it up, it's actually quite terrifying. So that I've been able to basically trying to stop me from being able to work. So I've been on tour for doing speaking engagements, doing my comedy tour, and everything was sold out until a certain point. And then I noticed people weren't viewing my post and things weren't translating, I guess, engagements. And
You're on social media, you mean?
But across the board. And it started whenever it was leaked that he tried to pay me again and tried to make me sign another NDA, and I said no. So then suddenly every trace of me online disappeared. And one of the most strange things was that I searched my name one day on Facebook. Of course, thousands of things come up. Just my name. It's everywhere. The very next day, and I'll happily show you a screenshot, search my name, no results found. How is that possible? And then 4 of my last shows that I had booked for months, suddenly a couple days before, Donald Trump was doing a rally in the same city on the same day.
Does he need to worry about this anymore? I mean, he's won the presidency.
He doesn't need to worry about it, but he's a petty child. And he likes to make examples.
So do you think he'll want vengeance?
Well, I mean, he said that's what he wants. I'm not going to... Who knows what he wants? Who knows what goes on in the mind of a lunatic? But he said it himself. And I don't understand, I'm actually coming on your show this morning and for the first time a little bit shocked and ashamed of what's happened in my country. I mean, I can't imagine that any other country in the world, I don't know your legal system, obviously, specifics, but how is someone found guilty or even charged with so many crimes even allowed to run for a political office?
Because there's no constitutional ban on them doing so.
There was no precedent set, and I thought that the American people would step up in the voting booth and set that precedent, saying, people who speak like you, who have rhetoric like you, who incite violence like you, and cause so much divisive behavior in our country, we won't stand for it. But I'm going to say, and I think that it's you cannot tell me that it's not because of racism that she did not win.
That's what you think is the reason behind her defeat?
That's my opinion. She came to the game late. She didn't have nearly as much time to prepare, which is not her fault. And I think that if she was of a different skin color, things may have gone a little differently.
Except that Barack Obama served 2 terms.
But he was a man.
Right, so you don't think it's racism, you think it's sexism?
I think it's both. Maybe if it was a white woman, or perhaps if it was a black man.
Except Hillary Clinton, couldn't win.
So combine the two, and I think it was just too much. And I'm going from what I've read online, and people, I'm from the Deep South. I hear horrible things, which I won't repeat on television, obviously, but you can imagine what I'm saying.
We certainly know that the early polling is that Hispanic and black voters moved towards Donald Trump. They were more likely to vote for him than in 2020, but I think we will find that was men more than women, and potentially younger men as well. And that may be people who aren't really that sympathetic to what you've been through.
Yeah, and I think that a lot of it is they don't even understand what I've gone through, what I've continued to go through. And, I mean, I can't even find the words to speak to you intelligently about how to explain this, because we're talking about a man who went on TV multiple times and praised fictional monsters like Hannibal Lecter and Hitler. I think any candidate you would think would be smart enough not to even say the name Hitler in a speech. Yet, here we are.
And also, what is confusing to people is you talk about race and certain demographics, but there was the Madison Square Garden rally where the comedian said that Puerto Rico was an island full of garbage, and yet Hispanic voters aren't put off.
The Hispanic people that I know, the Puerto Rican people I know, are extremely put off. So I don't understand why the numbers aren't translating. You know what I mean? I can't tell you. Me and my husband sat up for hours, and I'm sure he's tired of listening to me say the same thing over and over. How is this possible? How is this possible? Is it some sort of mass?
Okay, sorry, I was just going to say, who should the Democrats have put up to make sure that Donald Trump, who you feel personally threatened by and you think the country is threatened by, who should have been put up to beat him?
I have no idea. I mean, that was the other thing we talked about all the time. How are these our only two options? Out of millions upon millions of people, they're the best. No one else wanted to step up. It's absolutely mind-boggling.
Can I ask how you are going to manage this now? When we spoke in the summer, you talked about the fear that you had. Do you feel that, you know, we're delighted to talk with you and worried with you, for you, but do you feel that being here with us this morning in DC, talking about this, you talked about your tour where you're speaking publicly, does being public and talking about this, do you think that gives you some strength and some protection? Does it make you more of a target?
Both. And I will tell you something very interesting that happened is when I got shadow banned all of this at the same time, when my posts disappeared from people's feeds, the only thing that was there over and over and over was an old interview that my husband did back in May, which he got in trouble for doing, where he said that someone asked him, the reporter asked him, what's going to happen if Donald Trump is not found guilty? This is before the verdict was in. And he said, well, I don't know. We might have to think about vacating the country. And, of course, the press grabbed that, and it was all over the place, and he got in trouble. But if you watch the video, that's what he said. When my post disappeared a couple of weeks ago, that came back up. It was the only thing in the thread, but they had changed his words to, Stormy Daniels' husband says, they will leave the country if Donald Trump is made president. That is not what he said at all. And it was flooded everywhere, along with my things being shadow banned.
So what will you do?
I don't know. I mean, I found this out. I did some shows earlier, was at the hotel, couldn't take any more of it. We turned the television off and woke up to this news. My friends are calling, just, you know, assuming that I'm leaving and saying goodbye. And I honestly, I don't know. I don't think it's processed yet, and I don't know if it ever will. I just cannot believe this would ever happen. How did so many people turn a blind eye to the things he's done and the things he said?
Who can you go to ask for help now? There is going to be an American, a Trump presidency, the House and the Senate, the Supreme Court are all now kind of shifted in that direction. I wonder, who can you trust?
No one. I mean, I trusted the legal system, and look what happened.
Well, the legal system found him guilty.
But the legal system didn't even hear my case. They found I had to pay him over $600,000 a couple of months ago.
So you don't feel the legal system is on your side, and now you don't feel the president is on your side?
The legal system failed me multiple times. They refused. I didn't lose in court. That's a common misconception, because I never got my day in court. They refused to even hear what I had to say, despite overwhelming evidence and I mean, in every way, physical evidence, witnesses, everything. And E. Jean Carroll, for the exact same 3 sentences, was awarded over $80 million. And I'm happy for her. That's good. I'm glad for her. But they didn't, not only did they not hear my case, they gave her millions, or awarded her millions of dollars, and cost me over $600,000.
Well, Stormy, thank you for joining us this morning. Good luck with everything. It must feel weird for you. We're about to report that the UK Prime Minister has sent his congratulations to Donald Trump for being elected president. Does that sound...
Do you think it's sincere? I don't know.
Strange to you?
Or is it just formality?
In the end, we live in democracies, and Donald Trump has won the popular vote, and he's become the president of the United States, and people congratulate him for that victory. But I hope that you can stay safe.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.